Um, and now sticking along in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel's always had a thing where their villains are supposedly crappy. Going back to Phase One, people have always complained about the villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and save for a few key ones like Thanos, there's not usually a lot to write home about when it comes
Right.
to the antagonists in these movies. But there's talk that our boy Christian Bale is going to be the best MCU villain yet, according to Taika Waititi. And well, let's expand on that. I mean, look for the quotes. But while I look for the quotes, are you surprised to hear that Christian Bale's Gorr the God Butcher might actually be worth a damn? Because I didn't, just based on that name.
Right.
It
So
sounds
I
like
mean,
hokey.
it's a little hokey because that's the character's name, but it is what it is. But he seems pretty badass, just like from the comics and some of like the illustrations I've seen of him. But I mean, listen, you got Christian Bale. So I would hope you're gonna do something like a little extra with him than just the usual like let me grimace and snarl. I mean, not for nothing, like Thor 3, like you got Kate Blanchett, who is an amazing actress. Like I'm a huge fan of hers, and she was just like there. She did her little thing,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like she just showed up, and she had some presence, but there was really nothing like that special about her. Like the
Mhm.
only thing that made her like a little relatable was that you found out that spoilers for Thor Ragnarok, if you haven't seen it yet, she was actually like Thor's like sister. Yeah,
Yeah.
or like F sister. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that kind of they tried to use that to give it a little more of like a personal like effect on Thor, but it was so thin and it was just like, oh, you're gonna tell me that now and then have us like stop her and kill her like right away. So I don't know, like they've gotten some big actors to do some of these roles, but really aside from Thanos, Josh Brolin's awesome performance, none of them have really done anything. So and I've heard this line before. I feel like so many directors have said like, "Oh, we have the best, villain this time. We have the
Yeah.
best villain this time." I mean, honestly, if aside from Thanos, your best villain was Kingpin in Daredevil.
Oof. Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean? Like, you really
Yeah.
haven't had anyone come close to Thanos and Josh Brolin's performance or D'Onofrio as Kingpin, in my
Yeah.
opinion. No one has come anywhere close. And granted, listen, Daredevil had a show; they could develop him a lot longer over time, but he was compelling and actually had like depth.
Hmm.
So I just don't know. Like, you have an amazing actor, Christian Bale. I also haven't seen him in anything in like a really long time.
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw him in was the movie Vice, where played Dick Cheney. I think that was the
Hmm.
last like big release I saw him in.
Yeah,
So
that might be. Yeah, I might be able to
that was a
say
few
exactly the
years
same thing.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I've heard this line before. So I don't know.
Well,
Prove me
here's the thing. I'm with you, but to me, Taika Waititi is a special filmmaker. To
Yeah.
me, he doesn't strike me as like a studio shill. There's some of these guys when they go out there and talk, you can almost tell that Kevin Feige's hand is up their ass or something.
Right.
Like whenever John Watts talks about something, I don't really put too much into it. Like a lot of the Marvel directors, I'm like, yeah, you're just doing what you got to do to hype up
Yeah.
your movie. Taika Waititi, he's got street cred. He makes stuff that's awesome that's not Marvel related. Also, like what we do
Yes.
in the shadows, like that pirate one that you're
Our flag
watching.
means death. Yes.
Yes. He's not someone who like necessarily has to kiss ass and play the game and do all that sort of stuff. So when he says, and this is the quote I found it, he says, "In my humble opinion, we have probably the best villain that Marvel's ever had in Christian Bale." So I mean, to me, coming from him, I kind of believe it. There's something to that. That means that he wrote this and directed this in a way where this is a villain that we're gonna be upset about. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's going to be stakes. He's going to be a threat to our hero. We're going to be worried about our hero. I don't think Waititi would say this if it's just going to be another one of these kind of crappy disposable villains that
Sure.
we've gotten in the past. So I guess I want to see more. The design is really strange, right? He's bald headed and all white. It's a very unique character design. Some people thought it
Yeah.
looked a little too like bland or generic in a way. But if you look at artwork of Gorr the God Butcher, that's what he looked like.
Well, we've seen is that action figure, right? Which looked like
Yeah.
butt. I mean, but like yeah, because it was just like a little corny, like cheap action figure. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
one of like the good, nice, like high end ones.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, illustration wise, like he looks pretty cool in the comics. Like he looks pretty badass. I was like doing a little research before too. Like he has, he's got all the goods, all the bells and whistles as far as like
Yeah.
powers and strength and stuff. But at the same time, you have this movie where we kind of have the idea that like Thor is kind of going through like a midlife crisis kind of deal. There's obviously going to be some stuff with him with the Guardians. Then we have to have introduce God the Gore Butcher. We have to have Thor go through his journey, and then we know at some point Jane Foster gets involved in here and
Yes.
becomes female Lady Thor or just Thor, female Thor, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call her. And I just feel like there's a lot in there that you have to balance now. So like how much development are we really going to get for this guy where his
Yeah.
gimmick is just that he wants to destroy all the old gods. Like that's his
Yeah.
main thing is he's called Gorr the God Butcher. He doesn't like all these gods and he wants to get rid of them. And also, if you've also glimpsed in the trailer, I think we might have
Zeus.
discussed yeah, we're going to the Greek pantheon. So I'm like, how good is he going to be? How much time are you going to be able to give him? Because
Mhm.
you need time for that. So
You know what I'm wondering too? Now, just
just
kind
like
of
a Waititi though. So
in Taika, I trust.
yeah, yes.
But also in terms of how they're going to handle things in this movie, I'm just curious. Do you think that the Jane Foster, who is Mighty Thor in the trailer, do you think that's the same Jane Foster from Thor 1 and 2? Or is this going to be some sort of multiverse deal where she's the Thor on her world? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the part I can't quite
I
tell.
was gonna bring that up, but then I thought I
Yeah.
should stop talking. And I'm glad you brought it up though, because that was literally my next point. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the other thing too, because like now if she's not the one that we've had the first,
We
couple
got
of
to explain
movies,
how she
we
became
got to
Mighty
explain
Thor.
this one, and it's
Yeah.
it's all connected. We got to tie it in. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. It just seems
Yeah.
there's a lot of moving parts here. I'm sure the movie can be 2.5 hours, but that's a lot.
That is a lot.
It
That
just
is a lot.
is. It's nothing. It's not like a bad thing off the bat, but I've just seen it time and time again.
Yep.
You only have so much time.
You only have so much time.